All right, here we are, guys. The last major joint of the body we're covering for our full body cars routine, and it's gonna be the toes. So this one is pretty alien. Not a lot of people use their toes as really they should to their true capacity. If you think about the toes being the same as our fingers, people can't use their toes like this. And I'll be honest, neither can I, but I've come a long way from passing these. So the toes, guys, you know, in our day and age, it's common for people to have little to no toe mobility, right? They honestly can't move their toes, and it's leads to a lot of problems up the chain. Because if you think about it, especially when we're standing, our only connection to the ground, the only reason we're able to stand is because of our connection with our feet to the floor. And if you think about when you go to grab, try to open a doorknob, or you try to, pick up, let's say, a dumbbell off the ground, for example, or even like just a backpack, you need that grip. You need something strong to hold on to lift it up, where a lot of times we lack that in our feet, and we unfortunately end up relying on shoe wear, cushioned, even orthotic shoe wear that creates a scaffolding for our feet and ends up creating more problems, more long-term problems, as it might give short-term relief, more long-term problems down the road. So our solution is to take the shoes off, let the feet be free, and start doing some toe cars. So what we're gonna do, guys, is essentially by taking the socks off and the shoes off, it's like taking the oven mitt off your hand. Imagine walking around all day with an oven mitt on your hand, trying to open the doors, trying to write with a pencil. Eventually your fingers are just gonna be like, hey, let's just fuse together, and we got our thumb, we can move our thumb, but we'll just fuse our hand together and we'll just move like this. That's what's happening to our feet. So let's take that off, let's give them their freedom, and let's do some cars. So what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna just get in a comfortable position, somewhere sitting on the floor. You can even take a seat on a bench or a chair if you'd like. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our foot out in front of us, okay? Prepare to be surprised. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that the ball of our foot, right, the very bottoms of each of the toes, that area is being pushed into the ground firmly, and also our heel, okay? What we're gonna do to start is we're gonna try and lift all our toes up off the ground while keeping those 2 points in contact with the floor. Now, if you can, try to create some space between your toes. Right? We talked about how our toes are glued together because of our shoe wear. See if you can create some space. Right? It might not happen in the beginning, but we do that to try to get a little bit more motion there. And then we're going to try and place the toes down firmly into the floor. When I say firmly, I mean imagine there's a $100 bill underneath each one of your toes. So you got $500, and you're trying to put some pressure to make sure that the $500 bills don't just fly away with the wind, okay? You don't have to try and, destroy the ground and make a dent in the floor, but just a little bit of force, okay? From there, we're gonna try and keep our 4 toes on the ground, holding on those dollar bills, as we try and lift up just our big toe off the ground. So the big toe comes up, 4 toes stay down, and then we'll place our big toe back on the floor, all right? Take a deep breath. If you're doing this right now, following along, it could be very anxious, very similar to the ankle. What's important, guys, is just go slow and continue to breathe, okay? So we're gonna work on just the big toe to start, separate of the 4 toes, okay? Trying to get as much flexion of the big toes as you can and as much extension. And then we'll do the opposite. We'll keep our big toe down and try and get our 4 toes up. And if you can maintain the space between the toes, that's even better. All right, we'll work to that. And what you might feel when we do these is we should feel the arch of our foot engage, and maybe even the back of our calf start to engage. All right. Then we're going to move on to bringing all the toes up again and trying to keep the 4 toes up as we tap the big toe. Big toe up, big toe down. And then we'll do the opposite. Big toe stays up, and we'll work on tapping the 4 toes on the ground. All right. After that, we're going to try and bring our toes together and then separate them. All right. So we're going to try and bring our toes together and then try and create some space. Together and create some space. And then lastly, just one for fun. We're gonna try and do the piano with our toes. Pinky, fourth, third, second, and then the big toe. So start with the pinky, goes down the floor, all the way down to the big toe, lift them all up, and trying to just create this synchronized pattern of movement, right? So we'll go through that. We can do that on one foot, we can both do it on both feet at the same time. But those are the foundational movements to the toes, guys. And what's important to note with the toes especially, but again, this really goes for all the joints, and I briefly spoke about it on the ankle, is we're creating a blueprint in our brain. So right now in our brain, there isn't, for most of us, if we're talking generally, for most people that I've trained with in Western civilization, is we wear shoes, we don't have great toe mobility, foot mobility. So our brain, it's very cloudy, right? It's kind of dirty. What we do when we do the cars and what we provide movement for all of our joints is we get that Mr. Clean eraser, and we start cleaning that stuff up. We start getting the dirt and the dust out of there, and before you know it, up on the wall, we got a blueprint of our own body. And we can say, yeah, I know what that does, I know what this does, yeah, that looks right, looks like I got some limitations here, and you get to learn exactly what your body can and can't do. And there's no better feeling than knowing that you have control of your body and that there's something you can do about it, all right? So I really hope you guys enjoyed the introductory videos to the cars. Next, we're gonna go on to a follow-along routine, something you can use anywhere, anytime, in a short period of time to tackle all of these for your benefit. Hope you enjoy it.